Hello, welcome to Swiss Watchmaking. First of all, I want to thank you all for the massive support. We've reached 100,000 subscribers and it wouldn't be possible, obviously, without all of you guys. Thank you so much, we really appreciate it. Today we're doing the second installment of the top 5 watches that you don't know but should. You guys really liked the first video I did with this topic where we showcased Philippe Piccoli, Hodinkee Berkus, Kikuchi Nakagawa, Remy Kool's and Theo Frey. Since then we had everybody on the channel except of Kikuchi Nakagawa. Gonna get you guys. That is the goal of this channel actually, since the beginning, to introduce you to watches and watch brands which you don't know. So let's get started. Today I will highlight Ketelaars watches, Torsti Laine, Sivanpino, Becsei and last but not least, Minhoon. I have a list of many more, but if you have a suggestion, leave a comment down below so we can help them get more exposure together. Supporting these small independent watchmakers really comes down to the first watch collectors. They dare to take the leap of faith and buy the first pieces. Without them, many wouldn't be able to proceed. Independent watches are more and more popular these days, and a bigger group of watch collectors jump on board of them as they want to be among the first to support such great minds of the future. In case you want to learn more about each watchmaker, I will put all the links in the video description below so you can check them out. Stefan Ketelaars founded his company in 2007 and is a young guy considering where he's at already. The watches are very special like no other. The Dutch watchmaker creates these avant-garde looking pieces and I can really see the passion behind them. Some of the models feature a globe on the dial, others feature a balance wheel, which always reminds me of the F legacy machine watches which I dearly love. What is also noticeable is that Stefan creates some of his own components which I have never seen before. As far as I can tell, he uses ETA movements which he totally deconstructs and finishes himself. The time and motion model costs 4,800 euros excluding tax, which is fantastic if you ask me. The 3D Terra in motion watch, which is my favorite so far, costs only 5,000 euros excluding tax. From the progress on his Instagram page, which I can definitely advise you to check out, I can see good growth and I can't wait to see what he will come up with in the future. The next one I want to talk about is Baxi, someone who creates watches like no other. A seasoned watchmaker, a member of the ACI, Academy of Independent Watchmakers, his watches are as unique as it gets. Located in Budapest, Hungary, he's the third generation watchmaker of his family. He's one of those guys who makes everything himself, from the design to the actual manufacturing of the components. From the world's smallest pendulum clock, which I had the pleasure of seeing in Basel back in the day, to fantastic wristwatches, he's definitely a watchmaker to put on your radar. His case shape is unique and rectangular, either you like it or not. The Dignitas models, for example, feature unique guilloche dials, specially shaped hands and hand engraving. The highlight for me are definitely the Primus triple axis tourbillon and the Vox Vinum Grand Sonnerie. The triple axis tourbillon is developed and created in-house. A complex movement, this is really a rare feat watchmakers usually don't embark on. The dial is hand engraved and features a seconds indicator, power reserve and regulator style time indication with hours and minutes separately displayed. There's even a small window on the side of the case so you can see the tourbillon working from the side. The movement, like all the others, is beautifully hand finished. The Vox Vinum Grand Sonnerie is exceptional. From the front, back and the side, it's a watch unlike any other. The amount of hand finishing and craftsmanship in this watch is insane. From a hand polished movement, hand engraved case, a precious stone set crown and heat blued components, Becsei really creates watches which are a work of art. Another watchmaker I admire and follow for a few years now is Torsti Laine. I visited him a few years ago in his workshop in Locle and had the pleasure of seeing his watches in person. Torsti won the A. Söhne Watchmaking Excellence Award in 2014. He's a graduate of the prestigious Finnish School of Watchmaking and worked with the best at A. Söhne and Kari Voutilainen. If you're looking to get into independent watchmaking at a reasonable price, this might be for you. You have an option with a nice micro rotor movement watch called the V38. The watch is powered by a Voscher 5401 movement with a custom engraved micro rotor. The watch features applied Breguet numerals and different types of finishings. The cool thing with Torsti is that you can create a special watch for yourself which suits your needs. It's a great daily watch with a 38mm case and a thickness of only 9mm due to the very thin movement. The price range varies from 9,400 Swiss francs to 11,000 Swiss francs, depends on the type of dial you choose. You can also go for any of the Gelidus 3 or GG3 watches, which are bigger at 40.5mm diameter. Those feature a movement which is more custom to Torsti and I personally really prefer those. There are really many dial options available, so I'm sure you'll find something you like. From guilloche all the way to meteorite, the price for these models are in the range of 8,500 Swiss francs to 11,000 Swiss francs. Again, obviously, depending on the type of dial you want. The more complicated, the more it costs. But considering the price, I think it's still worth it. Another great watchmaker that seemingly came out of the blue is Sivanpino. Sivan works from Saint-Croix, the same city Vianney Halter works from, or I could call it a village. The first watch I saw was his monopusher chronograph. The chrono is very unique, displaying the components on the dial side, including the column wheel. I love the use of heat-blued hands, sapphire discs, and hand-polished components. He really made something special there. With the unique case design, the price is 78,000 in titanium and 88,000 in gold. The watch that made the biggest impact for him lately was the Origin, an elegant watch showcasing his skills. Prominently showcasing the escapement mechanism on the lower front side of the dial, you can admire all kinds of finishing techniques, from frosting, hand beveling, mirror polishing, and so forth. The back is equally as beautiful as the front, so you could technically wear the watch upside down. The Origin even won the GPHG award for horological revelation. The price for this wonderful timepiece is anywhere between 65,000 euros to 68,000 euros, depending on the execution of the dial and case material you choose. The last but not least young man I want to showcase in this video comes from Korea, a country with not really many watchmakers to my knowledge. Minhoon Yoo is truly building something unique. It's kind of the theme of today's video. I had the pleasure of seeing his watch in person and actually handling it as well. After a long observation, I have to say that I am impressed with his work. The dial is fantastic, especially the mirror polished and beveled applied indexes. They're uniquely shaped as well, something very distinct to his design. The dial reminds you of Grand Seiko dials and the quality and depth is definitely there. All the hands are thin and heat-blued, another sign that Minhoon follows high-end watchmaking. The movement is exquisitely finished. He uses a Becsei 7001 as a base, but redesigns and finishes it himself. Minhoon creates nickel-silver bridges for the watch along with a click spring, all entirely his own creation. The price of one of Yoo's watches, called the carved piece, is 18,000 US dollars. Might seem like a lot, but once you dig deep into how much is done in-house and by hand, it really makes sense. I'm looking forward to seeing what he will create in the future and maybe even meeting him in person one day. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked the watchmakers I highlighted, and if you have any recommendations, leave a comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you again for the support during the last 3 years, and I'll see you next week.